Caleb, the Outreach and Project Development Manager with the Nestucca, Neskowin, and Sand Lake Watersheds Council. And this is our coordinator, Garsha.
Hello.
So this past couple years, we've been working on some really awesome projects throughout our three basins. And due to COVID and some different shutdowns and quarantines, we haven't had as much chance to share some of these great projects with you. So today we just wanted to take a chance to give you a virtual tour around our basins and show you some of these awesome projects. Come join us.
Very generally, the types of restoration projects we implement are fish passage enhancement, in-stream habitat enhancement, riparian planting and improvement, and estuary restoration. We also conduct studies and assessments that allow us to prioritize our work and teach us more about our watersheds, as well as monitoring projects that allow us to track the status and trends of important environmental indicators. Fish passage enhancement projects include the removal of fish passage barriers that block the migration of fish and other aquatic organisms. These barriers can include dams, weirs, tide gates, and undersized or perched culverts. Barriers are either just removed, or if the barrier is along critical infrastructure, removed and replaced with a stream-spanning structure that passes fish, such as a larger culvert or a bridge. The Clear Creek Culvert Removal Project, which was located in the Nestucca Basin at the crossing of Yank Road and Clear Creek, is an example of a fish passage barrier removal project in which an undersized and failing 14-foot wide culvert was replaced with a 52-foot long concrete bridge. The undersized culvert put the road at risk of failure, and the project served a dual purpose of removing a fish passage barrier while increasing the resiliency of the Tillamook County road system. Clear Creek provides an abundance of cool water and spawning gravels, ideal for salmonid habitat. The removal of this barrier opened up approximately 3.5 miles of this critical habitat. The culvert was the only remaining fish passage barrier on Clear Creek, and the stream is now completely barrier-free. Partners for this project included the U.S. Forest Service, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, Tillamook County Public Works, Trout Unlimited and the Salmon Superhighway, NOAA, and the Oregon Watershed Enhancement Board. This project was implemented in 2020. Since 2019, we've implemented similar projects on Bear Creek in the Nestucca Basin and Jewel Creek in the Sand Lake Basin, and have been involved in many others. We are currently in the middle of 2 fish passage enhancement projects. Working with Tillamook County Public Works and many other partners, Neskowin Fish Passage Improvement Project, or Emergency Egress Project, includes culvert replacements on Hawk and Butte Creeks in Neskowin Village. Working with the U.S. Forest Service, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and the Oregon Watershed Enhancement Board, the Rover Creek Culvert Replacement Project includes the replacement of a culvert along Rover Creek on Boy Scout property in Camp Merriweather, which is in the Sand Lake Basin.
In-stream and riparian enhancements are two distinct but very complementary restoration efforts which help improve spawning and rearing habitat for a variety of salmonids and other aquatic and terrestrial species. The Council accomplishes in-stream restoration improvements primarily through the addition of large wood into stream reaches which are devoid of habitat complexity. By placing large wood into the stream, the water velocity and power is decreased, and spawning gravels and other beneficial habitat features begin to accumulate across the landscape. Scour pools begin to form downstream of the large wood placements, and oftentimes juvenile coho are seen utilizing the newly formed habitat within the first year following construction. The Council is currently in the advanced planning stages of a large wood enhancement project in the Sand Lake Basin. The project, which is expected to be implemented in the summer of 2020, will install 47 large wood structures in 2.69 stream miles on high-priority stream reaches in Sand Creek, Andy Creek, and Jewel Creek on a mix of public and private land. These streams were selected based on recommendations in the 2019 Sand Lake Limiting Factor analysis that identified reaches where restoration would have the greatest positive impact for coho salmon. Riparian enhancement in the Nestucca, Neskowin, and Sand Lake basins is focused around the conversion of patches of invasive species such as Himalayan blackberry and Japanese knotweed into site-specific variety of native trees and shrubs which are better suited to the ecosystem and provide habitat for native pollinators, birds, and terrestrial animal species. Also, by converting blackberry and knotweed monocultures into reaches with large conifer trees and a diverse understory, we are increasing the habitat resiliency, providing stream shading, and also ensuring a future supply of large wood for the stream. Over the previous 2 planting seasons, the Watershed Council has worked with 14 landowners to plant over 17 acres of riparian habitat with a variety of native trees and shrubs, while also maintaining over 35 acres of past plantings.
Recent research has shown that estuaries are incredibly important for the life history of salmonids, especially in the rearing phase. Years of diking, ditching, and installing tide gates for farming and development has blocked off critical salmonid rearing habitat. Estuary projects can include the removal or breaching of dikes to restore historic off-channel salmonid habitat, which can also include benefits of improving estuary water quality and restoring vegetation communities native to our region, inventorying tide gates to understand the type, size, and location of potential estuary fish passage barriers, replacing, updating, or removing failing tide gates to improve fish passage and water quality, and restoring historic estuary channels to create additional habitat.
To ensure that each project that the Council implements will have a high conservation return on investment, we are continuously conducting monitoring and assessments across the landscape. Recently, we have completed an in-depth limiting factor analysis of the Sand Lake watershed, which identified areas and habitat features across the basin that are limiting salmonid production. The Council also recently completed an inventory of tide gates across our watersheds, which will help in prioritizing future estuary restoration projects. Another exciting monitoring effort we are conducting is an expanded water quality monitoring program that measures E. coli colonies in the Nestucca, Neskowin, and Sand Lake basins. By approaching each project with a sound scientific basis, we are able to do great restoration work with a high conservation return on investment and continue to improve the habitat for the community that relies upon it.